All right, welcome to the show, everybody. As you could tell, I'm coming to you on vacation, but I could not stay away. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. So literally about 3 minutes ago, we got a Supreme Court decision on the Trump immunity case. So that is huge news. I'm going to lead with that in just a second. Also, we'll get to the reaction to the Trump-Biden debate, including the Democratic copium. Later on, we'll have Jon Stewart's reaction to it. We'll have Mehdi Hasan's reaction to it. We'll have a tense and heated and awkward exchange on Morning Joe that Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough had about it. So we got a lot of stuff to get to today. And without any further ado, we're going to jump into it. Everybody do me a big favor. If you're not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button below. Who else can say that they take time out of their vacation to do a full show for you? Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into it. So again, we literally just got this right before I came on air. Supreme Court keeps Trump election case alive, but rules he has some immunity for official acts. The Supreme Court ruled on whether President Donald Trump is immune from criminal prosecution on federal election interference charges. So this, of course, is pertinent to the Jack Smith case. He's the one who's prosecuting for election subversion. There's the Georgia case as well, which is very similar, but the main one here is the Jack Smith case. So here's what they say. The Supreme Court ruled Monday that Trump has presumptive immunity for official acts he performed as president, complicating but not killing special counsel Jack Smith's election interference case. The 6-3 ruling, which was proposed by the court's 3 liberal justices, sends the high-profile case back to U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan. Trump is charged in a 4-count indictment with illegally conspiring to overturn his loss to President Biden in the 2020 presidential election. The case in Washington, D.C., federal court has been on pause while Trump argues that he is immune from prosecution for any official acts he performed while he was president. Lawyers for the presumptive Republican nominee contended that an ex-president cannot be charged for their official acts in office unless they are impeached and convicted by Congress. Trump was impeached in the House for inciting an insurrection on January 6th when a mob of his supporters, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the gist of it. So basically, look, here's what this means. The court is now going to determine, hey, was January 6th and the stuff Trump said around January 6th and the fake elector slate, was that part of Trump's quote-unquote official duties? Or was that not part of his official duties? And he was basically acting as a rogue civilian in that respect, right? Going outside of what the purview of his job was as president. And if that's the case, then yes, you can charge him for it and he can be found guilty for it and he has no immunity. So basically what this decision is a non-decision. It's throwing their arms up in the air and going, I don't know, you guys figure it out, right? Now, look, it could have been worse and it could have been better. It could have been worse if they said the president has immunity full stop from any prosecution. It could have been better if they said, no, you don't have immunity both for official acts that are illegal and acts that are not part of your job as president and are illegal, right? So they basically tried to split the difference and kick the can down the road. And guys, that's what the plan was from the beginning with this, right? Just the fact that the Supreme Court said, we're going to hear the case on whether or not Trump has immunity, that was a massive victory for Trump. Why? Because that made it so the case which was supposed to happen before the election, we were supposed to get, an answer about whether or not Trump is guilty and whether or not he's going to go to prison for election subversion. We were supposed to get an answer to that before the election. And obviously, if he was found guilty and he was sentenced to time behind bars, that would massively impact the election and he would be effectively taken off the field. But what happened here is they accepted the case and they made it so that any answer that we're going to get in terms of his criminality on this front is going to be after the election. And by the way, if he wins, then this case sort of evaporates anyway, because nobody contests that when a president is actually in office, then the only avenue to get them is basically impeachment. You need to impeach him and then convict him in the Senate in order to get them out of there. So again, just the fact that they took it up was a victory for Trump. But now they took it up and their decision is effectively shrugging their shoulders and saying, maybe he did commit a crime, maybe he didn't commit a crime, but now the court has to determine, was this an official act or was this a non-official act? And then once the court gives that determination, then they could drill down on whether or not this is a real crime. But again, just the fact that they took it up is preposterous, right? I mean, the notion that basically what Trump's arguing is a president should be above the law. And that's kind of hilarious because he seems to understand that that's a nonsensical position when talking about Biden, when talking about Obama, when talking about presidents he doesn't like. He thinks, of course, they should be subject to the law. And of course, you should punish them when they commit crimes, whether it's an official act or not. When it comes to him, it's everything I do should not be considered a crime, and I should have complete and utter immunity. So, look, that's the breakdown from the Supreme Court here. And like I said, it's neither a good nor a bad ruling. It's just a shoulder shrug of a ruling, and it just kicks it back to the lower courts, and they're going to have to determine whether or not this was part of his official acts, and also whether or not it was a crime. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.